Hey everybody, it's Jason Blah here. You guys know what time it is? Time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. For those of you who don't like these type of videos, you saw the title of the video and you clicked on it. But for those of you who do like these type of videos, please click like down below. Help me offset those dislikes. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, a bunch of people gave me some shocking news. They were outraged. They're like, Jason, Jeff Cavalier, aka Athlean-X, aka Curl-Lean-X, said that you have to use a spotter every single time that you bench. Are you outraged by this? No, no. Now, do I think it's flat wrong? But do I think for his channel it might be the appropriate and correct thing for him to say? Yes. So let me go ahead and put on my +5 hat of speechcraft. Let's talk about this. You know, Jeff is one of these people that sometimes I give him flack for certain things that he does, and it is earned. It is rightly so, because he's not above reproach. He absolutely is not even close to above reproach. He gets stuff wrong, especially from a strength coaching perspective. But he does get a lot of stuff right. In fact, he gets a hell of a lot of injury prevention stuff right. He gets a lot of preventative things and prehab right. As far as information, as far as prehab goes, as far as bigger people on YouTube, he probably is the best person there. I mean, let's just be realistic about it, right? I've even learned things from him for prehab purposes and tendon inflammation and things like that. That's his wheelhouse. So when it comes to things like injury prevention, a lot of stuff's pretty good. I mean, a lot of it's pretty good. Let's just be honest about it. Like, let's give credit where credit is due. It is. Now, we can talk about that, and people thought I would be shocked because I've said many times you do not need spotters. In fact, spotters can be counterproductive. Poor spotting is actually worse than having no spotters. I would rather use no spotter for a 1 rep max than bad spotting. And I do. I max every single week without a spotter. I train at home. And I train at home alone. I use safeties. But let's kind of come over to the point. Who is his audience? Noobs. Okay, let's be realistic here. Anyone think that there are any serious advanced lifters who follow Athlean-X? I mean, all joking aside, I'm not talking about his coaching clients on sports teams. I am talking about actual hardcore, legitimate lifters and serious athletes following Jeff as a YouTuber. Probably not. Now, people say, what about you? You don't. You better look through my comments. I got a heck of a lot of coaches. I have a lot of elite lifters in my comments. Got everything from natural pro bodybuilder, even though I'm not even pro bodybuilding. I don't like bodybuilding, to elite power lifters, some very well-respected, even published and well-renowned strength and conditioning coaches. Comment in my videos. Okay, they are there if you take a peek. So before people go there, they're there. But who is Jeff's audience? He has 3 million noobs. He has 3 million completely untrained, goofy child noobs following him. Let's just call it what it is. There's probably a handful of actual athletes and other people who follow his channel, because his stuff isn't for advanced athletes. It's even his strength programs. Nothing he puts out is useful for anyone who can bench press a full plate aside. If you can put a wheel on each side and bench it, and you can deadlift what most people should be deadlifting after 10 weeks in the gym, which is more than Jesse's ever deadlifted, his actual strength training program and information is probably not very useful. But if you're a ranked novice, and especially if you've got a history of injury, a lot of it's real good, okay? But the strength training and not so much. So there aren't serious lifters following. Who's following his advice and listening to every word he says? Noobs, weak noobs who don't know how to set up a bench correctly, okay? Now, if someone knows how to bench press correctly, even on the worst bench known to man, with no safeties, if I were to put 400 pounds on the bar and your max bench is 300, but you know how to bench correctly, what is the possibility that when you unrack it and it hits you and I leave you with no spotter, that it's going to reach your throat or kill you? I'm going to say 0.0%. People say, oh yeah, well, you take the collars off. No, you put the collars on. Leave the collars on. I'm not going to kill you. Might be pinned a little while till you figure out how to get out from under it. You'll get out from under it eventually. Why? Because someone who knows how to set up a bench press physically cannot get the bar to their throat or neck. How many noobs know how to bench press? Very, very few. I've got videos on this. How many noobs have their throat on the other side of the J-hooks? In other words, if they were to unrack the bar 1 inch and drop it, it would hit them in the neck. Almost all of them, because they don't know how to bench. They're not all the way under the J-hooks like you're supposed to be, and they bench up high on their chest, which you're not supposed to do. You bench down low on your chest. So the uprights, the J-hooks are probably right here, right? So those safeties are here. So if the bar dropped and rolled, it's going to stop here on your chest. And you can roll it down, do the roll of shame. So someone who knows how to bench is in no danger. These kids do not know how to bench. They might drop it on their throat. Furthermore, kids attempt reps that they're not capable of completing. Yeah. More experience that doesn't happen a lot unless we're ramping to a true max with unspecific things like chains and band combinations that we're not used to. Now, I occasionally miss some. You guys have seen me. I've missed probably on camera in the last year and a half, probably 4 bench presses. 4? I think that's about right. Not a big deal. Didn't get pinned. You know why? Because I use safeties. But I have also demonstrated for people how to bounce the bar off you. I've put like 275 on the bar before, dropped it on myself and bounced it onto the floor. Showed you guys how to stand up and drop it on the floor. That's the safest way to get the bar off if you don't have safeties. Now you should be benching in a safety rack, but if you don't have access, you set it on the floor in front of you. It is not safe to dump it. You do not take the clips off. You bench with the clips. In fact, unless you guys are using a very, very good bar, you got to be really weak and really slow for the plates to stay on the bar when you bench it, because the bar bends. Right? If you're strong, the bar is going to bend and whip when you bench, and the plates are going to start sliding down. You have to clamp them on. You have to. Sometimes you have to put 2 clamps. So I do sometimes. So yeah, that's a concern, but these kids don't know how to bench. They don't know how to bench. If they don't use a spotter, and they do get pinned under it, if it doesn't hit their throat, what happens? Silly kids will do silly stuff like tilt the bar to one side, right? And plates fly off one side, it flips over on the other and kills somebody, gives a concussion, breaks the skull of somebody next to them. That's the most dangerous crap you could do. Like, you're just being selfish. You should just go ahead and let yourself, maybe, I'm not going to say that. I mean, it's the difference between hurting someone else versus hurting yourself because you set up incorrectly. Okay, that's a problem. So in light of that, given who his audience is Jeff telling them to use a spotter unwarranted? No. He's probably going to save some lives. Not just their lives, but probably people around them. Because noobs benching is a dangerous thing, because when they get pinned, they do stupid stuff like flip the bar. Okay? Total noob novice mistake, or a meathead bodybuilder thing. Doesn't happen with real lifters. We know how to get the bar off of us. A little bit of experience. They don't. They hurt people. So he's looking out for their best interest, in all honesty, because of the size of the audience that he has. Now, truth be told, bad spotting is terrible. So a lot of people are going to say that. So what do you mean bad spotting? I can tell you what a bad spotter is. Someone who touches the bar before you miss the rep. Okay, that's a bad spotter. Someone who goes 2 fingers, bro, and they put 2 fingers under. They are touching the bar. You either pull the bar off somebody or you let them lock it. There is no in between. And if you put 2 fingers under and they miss a lift, you're going to hurt people. All right, that is not a way to spot. How do you spot? Over, under. You get over and under ready to grab it like you would grab a mixed grip deadlift, because you're going to have to deadlift it off of them. Because if somebody legitimately needs a spot, let me state that again. If someone legitimately needs a spot, as in they're going to miss the rep, 200-300 pounds or more is going to drop back down and hit them in the chest. What good is your 2 finger? Can any of you guys curl 300 pounds or even 200 pounds with 2 fingers? Can you curl that? Maybe you can curl it with a full grip. Maybe. I doubt it. But with the fingertips, of course you can't. So what good are you going to do? When someone misses a bench, they miss it fast. It's instant. You got to be ready to grab it. You say, what do you mean I've helped guys who didn't know you didn't help them? They should have finished the lift. They were grinding and you grabbed it before they were ready. You don't touch the bar until it starts going back down. Now, here's also what's a bad spotter. A bad spotter needs to deal with a noob and not let noob say one more rep. No. When you grab a bar to spot, a good spotter pulls it into the rack immediately. You don't wait to see if they want to do another rep, because if you had to touch the bar, they are done. You make them rack it. Even if they don't want to rack it, you make them rack it. Because there is no point in doing sets like that. It's not beneficial from a strength perspective, not beneficial from a muscle mass perspective, it's not beneficial from a recovery perspective. You rack the bar. If you have to make any physical contact with that bar, you do not let them go down again with it. You rack it. Or you're a bad spotter. If you touch the bar before they miss the lift, you're a bad spotter. If you do anything other than be ready to get over, under, and deadlift the bar off of them and use leg drive and whatever you got to use, you're a bad spotter. Okay? And if someone's lifting particularly heavy to where they need a spotter and you're not a real big, real strong guy, you should probably get two guys anyways. You get guys on the side-to-side spot. But it's the same thing. Spotters are there for when you miss the lift, not to help you when you're struggling. That's their job. They're there to keep the bar from hitting you. Okay? So that's what a good spotter does. And that is what a spotter is there for if you're going to use them. Setting up correctly and using safeties is just fine. However, I'd go out on a limb and say the overwhelming majority of people who are going to be in his audience are not going to be experienced lifters who can do that. And they probably do need to have a spot. But their spotters should hopefully probably watch this and understand that that's what a spotter does. Spotter doesn't do two fingers, bro. He's not there for forced reps. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.